Okay, this is Ron Adams. This is here. I love this green stuff behind you, but you're not an alien, right? This is full disclosure. This guy is not an alien. He is a real person. I met him. I went to his podcast. But let's start with your introduction, man. Who are you? Why actually you're my first English speaking guest on the podcast? How about that?
Interesting. That is awesome. Yeah, no, that's interesting.
From Bulgaria, do you know?
What's
How many people from Bulgaria do you know?
You and your son. That's it. I don't think I know any more.
Okay, 3. So tomorrow, okay, not tomorrow, but when we release this, I guess many Bulgarians will know about Ron Adams. Are you ready for that challenge?
That's awesome. I'm ready. Absolutely. It's an honor, by the way. Thank you.
All right, man. So tell us something about yourself. And actually, probably, why don't you start the story, how we met, and then go back with, we'll definitely go back to your book and my book and our writing and all the good stuff we're going to share today.
Yeah, absolutely. So we met in Loveland, Ohio, right? My earliest memory is I invited you on my podcast because I think you're a fitness guy, right? And I'm totally interested in that. And I loved your idea and your book. The 401k, help me with that. It had to do with
401 fitness. 401k is the money part.
Yeah, exactly.
401k.
And in essence, fitness for a person who is moving into their retirement or who wants to still have their physical health during their retirement age, which I thought was a fascinating idea. So I think we might have met even through when I was writing my book, and we had the same, ended up having the same publisher. But yeah, so my name is Ron Adams. I am a real estate broker in Loveland, Ohio, which is where my podcast is. The Ron Adams podcast is what I've renamed it. I am a real estate broker. I've been doing that. I've been doing real estate for probably 20 years here in Loveland. So I'm a father, a husband of 2 kids. I wrote the book Salesperson to Superhero, which is basically the idea that every person, oh, you've got it. Yeah, that's so awesome. That's awesome.
Do you remember I sent you a photo of this book?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So
I want to ask you about all these questions I had when I was reading it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what's funny is that I grew up as a kid. I started selling comic books. First of all, I started reading comic books when I was 8 years old. And then I became an entrepreneur at 8 years old. I was selling seeds. I did all of the things that you would think of a young entrepreneur doing. I sold sunflower seeds. I sold garden seeds, books. I sold shoes as a kid. This is all as a kid. So the book is about being an entrepreneur in today's social media world. And I wrote the book to tell people that it's in order to succeed, I think, in business today, you have to tell your story. And so the book is all about storytelling. The book is my own personal story and my growth as a entrepreneur. It's a mission-oriented book, I think I love what you're doing because you have a mission. It's not just that you wrote a book, but you wrote a book to help people. And that to me becomes the thing you're known for. So anyway, that's who I am. My future goals are to grow my real estate brokerage. I am the actual owner and broker of the company. And I just, I want to grow agents in my company. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. And real estate investing. I think we're coming up on an interesting time where it's going to be a great opportunity for people to invest in what I think is a new world, a new financial world coming. So I'd like to talk about that today too, if that's
a very good point, because I wanted also to ask you about the new technologies and how they are reflecting your business. So please go back to this topic if I forgot, because in my head I have so many questions now. But let's start on the book. So just for your information, if you don't know, in the back Bulgaria that I grew up, we are probably the same age, like 55, 56, right?
Yep.
So my first comic books I remember it's called PIF, P-I-F, and it's about a dog. It's a French comic. It's crazy like this. So it was very rare, very expensive to get. And if you get one book, that's like, this is the most precious thing ever. You will like let some people see it, like your friends, and they will give you back the book and you share with somebody else. But this book was like priceless. And in America, obviously, most of the kids that time, they grew up with comics. And I guess all the stories are around different heroes here, right? So you start with one hero and you develop the story behind the hero and how this reflects to your business and your understanding of life, right? So
That's
tell me
exactly right.
about this concept. It's very cool.
Yeah, the book is I think I ended up having 11 chapters. So I had 11 origin stories of superheroes, introducing each chapter. And the idea was to share with you like how everybody has an origin story. Like I love your story from your country. Like the struggles that people go through become the thing that turns you into the superhero you become, right? Like your adversity becomes how you overcome. So what I did was I divided the book into three separate sections. And one was to try to find out like, who you are and why you're here and what your mission is. Yeah. And then the second part of the book is designed for you to tell your story. How do you tell the story? Yeah. And then the third part is how to execute on that, on your business plan and on your mission. Once you find your mission and you understand your own origin story and you write it and podcast about it and YouTube about it, people will buy into your story and want to help you because everybody loves a transformation story. And then the third part is that what good is your story if you don't execute on it? If you don't tell people about it? Like, what do? Go to your grave without telling people the things you've overcome or whatever. So my whole book is designed for people to tell their story and then to roll that story over into some sort of mission. What is it? Why are you here? What do you want to do? And then how do you execute it? So So 11 superheroes introduce 11 ideas on how to because everybody has what I'll call it. They have a cause. Like, what is your cause? And at least entrepreneurs, I think, have that as a part of who we are anyway. Yeah.
So that's a great story, and you can read this book as a storytelling, but it's also a marketing guide, how you can organize your own concept about who you are and what your business is and why you're there, how you want to help people with your business and your story. So it's really great book. I hope you get a good feedback from other people. But that was one of the first self-care book that I bought in like a real book, because I know you. I said I'm gonna get the physical book. All my other books are on my iPad.
That's awesome. I love it. I really appreciate you reading it and giving me the feedback as well.
Yeah, thank you, man. And actually, I did my book presentation, my first book presentation at the same place you did yours. So I was like following your steps. Oh, that's a safe place. You remember that juice place in Loveland?
Yeah, absolutely. Right off the bike train.
My presentation right there. I said, all right, hey, Ron didn't die there. Nobody killed him. I guess I'm safe here.
Yeah.
So, well,
that's awesome.
Let me get back to this purpose and goals and storytelling. Are you familiar with Peter Diamandis' Massive Transformative Purpose concept?
Yeah, I've heard it, and I've heard him mention a lot as an author and as a thought leader. I'm not 100%. Why don't you enlighten me? Like, what's the big idea there?
So this concept is basically like the same origin what you were saying. You have something that wakes you up every morning and gives you power to move through life. And as soon as you figure out what this is, and it's massive transformative purpose, it should be massive it can be massive only for you and your family, but it's still very important for you. Massive is not like affecting all people's life, which is good too. But this is the main MTP, and there is a algorithm. You can step by step figure out which one is yours. It took me a week to following like all these like steps to kind of come up with the idea what my MTP is right now. And I actually put it on my website to remind me every day. And what Peter Diamandis is saying, he's reciting this under the shower every morning to remind him why I'm up and why this is important for me, and why what I'm gonna do today. So that's a very interesting. I will send some links, and I'm gonna put some links under the podcast if you're interested to download. His new book is called EXO with smaller x. It's for Exponential Organization. And his concept is that the future belongs to organizations that develop this mindset for moonshots to aiming for 10 times bigger ideas and bigger influences people. And it has a concept how to turn your business, current business or new business into an EXO, exponential organization. And I'm experimenting with one of my companies to transfer it to EXOs. Very interesting topic.
That is, if you don't mind, if you could put a link or whatever in this podcast, I'd like to get that book. I'd like to read more of his stuff because I hear a lot about him. And I agree. I think exponential, I think a lot of times in our brains, we limit ourselves as to what the possibility, what our true potential is. So I love that idea that I don't think it's any more difficult to think and believe in big goals as it is small goals or small, aspirations. So I love that idea.
So he's saying every big, breakthrough was originally a very crazy idea. So, and that's mindset to develop. Okay, it's crazy idea. That's good. One check. I have one something for a breakthrough. Then, but there's other stuff that define what is moonshot. The other thing you should be solving a huge problem for more than like 10 people. And then the third one is you should be able to test your crazy idea in a very small, way. Let's see if this actually will work. How little experiment we can do to test if this concept works. And this is very good because you don't need much financing for this. You just need to figure out what is the smallest possible way to test this.
Yeah, I love this idea. And the idea is, and I wrote about this in my book too, I call it go, do, try. It's experimentalism. And also it's in the tagline of my company, Move, Build, Invest, which is my Twitter handle, by the way. If you want to find me on Twitter, I'd like the link. Are you on Twitter, by the way?
I am there and I still can't figure out how to use it. I have no idea who is using my stuff, and I
totally get it. Yeah, I totally get it.
And now with the new thing, I'm like falling behind with what was this new Facebook thing that just came out.
Threads. I'll tell you this about Twitter. Go ahead.
I'm there too. I signed it the first day.
Okay, I did too.
But Mitko posted something about it. So, you have a kid who is very tech, and
absolutely.
I need to follow.
Well, I'll look for you. But the idea behind go, do, try is iteration, right? You don't have to, if you're going to do a moonshot, you don't have to get there on day one. You just have to take micro steps. You have to experiment, like you say, just do. Go, do, and this is a good thing I think we could teach young people, is just go, do, and try. And eventually you're in the lab, in the scientific lab, you're going to ultimately stumble on something that maybe takes you in a new direction. But it's iteration. I do this one thing and I try to do it better and better and better every day. Are you familiar with the term called Kaizen? It's a Japanese term. Have you ever heard that before?
Yes. Just remind me about it.
Yeah, it's continuous improvement.
with the smallest increment possible.
Exactly. Exactly. Like you can always get better, whatever your craft is. I believe in it. I believe in it. I believe you just do things. You become a craftsman at whatever you do. And then as you make these iterations, these small changes, they could get better and better and better. So that's how I think about it. And I really, truly believe it. And that's, that's a tagline of my company is move, build, invest, because it's just moving forward. It's just doing little things to ultimately get better, in the end.
Yeah, actually the concept behind 401 Fitness was this. My question was, what is the smallest thing you can do every day to improve or maintain your health in all departments? And then the next question, what if you have only 15 minutes a day? What you can do? Well, nothing is the obvious answer. Most people are saying with their behavior, but you can do a lot for 15 minutes. And most of the time when I challenge people, give me 15 minutes, I will help you fill them with whatever is most important for you today and the next month. And you see, sometimes people are having problems filling up even 15 minutes. Even 15 minutes is too much today. So this is becoming a bigger and bigger challenge. Maybe next book is going to be 5 minutes a day, because it's way, way better than nothing. Nothing is zero.
Exactly.
Multiply 0 to anything, it's 0.
Exactly. Yeah, 15 minutes is a big deal. If you could do something for 15 minutes consistently, it's a big deal.
Yeah, we started this conversation before the recording that I said, you're looking 10 years younger than the last time I saw you. So you're doing something right, which is very bad, because I can't claim any of this for my. But yeah, I'm working out currently like maybe 5 or 6 minutes every day. And that's my baseline. Most of the time during the week, I go to a swimming pool or do something else. But these 5-6 minutes, they never change. And this is a huge, I think, reason I keep the same shape year after year. Last time we talked, I told you about I'm doing squats when I brush my teeth. This is the 3 minutes squats that I always do. This is 1,000 squats a month. It's a incremental small amount of something that you attached to the previous day, then the next day, and so far.
Absolutely. I'll share a quick story with you. Like, I just got done reading a book by Joshua Lysak. He's an author here in Ohio, in Columbus, and he was inspired to write his book by I don't know if you know who Scott Adams is. He's he wrote one of the best business books. If there's one book I recommend to almost every person I ever come across, it's called How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big by Scott Adams. And you know what he says in there? He says,
title, man.
What's that?
Hell of a title.
It's a long title, but you know what's brilliant about it? It teaches you in there systems are way more important than goals. And that's what you do. Like you're talking about doing this daily regimented routine thing. It's the systems that make you successful. So Scott Adams talks about in his book, it's great to set a goal of, say, losing 20 pounds.
Yeah.
He said it's way better to set up a system that you eat only this particular thing at this particular time every day. So it's a system where it's not a big struggle to lose the 20 pounds. It just happens because you set up a good, consistent system. So that's what you do. And I love that about your whole thought process. And I would say to you, you inspire a lot of people just with the idea that you've got to take your health with you long past, your youth, right? So yeah, I would say that you did help people think system in terms of systems. So
yeah, goals are important, because when I realized I'm not after big muscles anymore. I'm not 25. I don't want to flex in front of the mirror. That was me back then. And I used to have like 6-packs and everything, have photos to document that. But right now, I'm really focusing on being like now, at least 50 more years.
Yes.
And enjoying life, what it like whatever I can do now, windsurfing, running, swimming. I don't want to miss any of all this stuff in my life. So the question is, how can I preserve this as long as possible?
Yeah, I love it. I love the idea. And I think a lot more
people are with me because of this. So I'm trying to, ask them, do you want the big muscles? Do you want to lose 5 or 10 pounds? We can do this. But how about think about how long you can live, and not only the length of life, but also the health span. Do you want to be able to do this stuff until your last day? And this is a great book, by the way. I highly recommend it.
Outlive, okay.
Outlive.
Peter Attia?
Yeah. It should be like this.
Yeah,
Peter Attia, Outlive. So it's already bestseller. When I've heard that he is writing a book 6 years ago, I said, this is going to be crazy good, because he's the one of the front men of this idea to live long and healthy life until your last day. My slogan of my companies is live long, die short. So don't get to this long dying process of 10, 15 years of less movement and sickness. So this is bad for everybody. And Peter Attia actually gives the algorithm how to escape the risk of the 4 more, the biggest risks for your life, actually. The heart diseases, the cardio diseases, heart disease, and metabolic diseases, cancer, and all the mental diseases. So you have these 4 horsemen, how they call them, and you need to prioritize which one is coming first for you to get you, and what you can do, behavioral, medical way, all the preventions. Very, very great book. And I'm designing some of my coaching now based on this book, helping people figure out what kind of tests you need to run. Let's see what we can do with behaviorals before you meet this big risk or horseman.
Yeah, I love that. I love that idea, because what I tell people in my real estate practice, quality of life, that's what it is. It's okay, you're going to get older. That's just like a numbers thing, but like, how are you going to get older? Are you know what I mean? There's nothing that says you can't be healthier at 50 than you were at 35. Like, there's no rule that says you can't. So I love the idea. It's a quality of life issue. Like, I'd rather have a quality life than a long sick life, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're gonna love this book. I'll post a link, of course.
Yeah, thank you.
And a funny story, because I read this book right away when it was published. I said, this book should reach all of my Bulgarian friends. So I called my publisher in Bulgaria. I said, you need to get the rights of this book. So she called the whoever holds the rights, and they said, you're the first person to ask about the rights in this book, so we're gonna give the rights to you. And she got them. And now, all right, drum rolls.
That's awesome. Oh, look at that. That is awesome.
And I wrote pre-rolls for a few words for this book at the front. And it's big. It's gonna be on the market in a couple of days. This is the first book originally in the States. And this is the way I kind of try to help people from the both sides, Bulgaria and here. Anything I learn, I try to transfer it as fast as I can to people who are very, curious about health, and they want to do the best what they can in this busy life.
I love that you did that. That is so awesome. Like, because you know what you're doing, as like in my business as a real estate agent, is I am always trying to translate to people like concepts and ideas that they just don't get. Everything, they're trying to live their life. Real estate's the last thing they think about, right? So I always view myself as a translator. Like, I speak this language. I've been speaking it for 20 years, this real estate language. They don't speak it. So I always view myself as a person who just helps people understand the concepts. And I do the same thing with my book and my podcast. But I love that idea. You're doing it in a very practical way.
And now I have the title of official scout for good books in Bulgaria. And guess which one is my next one for Bulgarian editor? Well,
that is awesome. You absolutely have all of the permissions that you need to do that.
Because on record now, that's why I didn't tell you this before, but this was a surprise for me.
Oh, that is so great. What a great idea. But B, you're in a unique position to do that. So going back to stories, like your origin story, everything that you've done in your life, all of your history allows you to get to this point right now. Yeah. Someone who's written a book, someone who does a podcast, someone who speaks 2 languages. There's not like in the Scott Adams book, 3 languages. Oh, yeah. So Scott Adams in his book talks about a talent stack. And what you have is you have a unique set of circumstances that make up your story that allow you to do what you're doing. And most people don't realize how many talents they have, and they don't take advantage of them. So I love that you're doing that, and you absolutely have my permission. I will be 100% all in on that. So
all right, man, that's deal. Check.
Yep. Just send me whatever I need to sign or whatever. I'm happy to help. I think that's amazing.
Last time I went to Bulgaria, that was like 3 weeks ago, and a friend of mine invited me to this. It's an event. Have you heard about Fuck Up Nights?
What's it called?
Fuck Up Nights. So you're invited to speak on stage about your fuck ups. It's so fucking crazy. Great idea. And they usually invite, like, famous people, successful businessmen. Yeah. And it was so funny the moment I realized how many fuck ups I can talk about. Like, it's like, do you really? Are you gonna give me just 15 minutes, guys? I can feel you whole
I can give you hours. Yeah,
all night. And the same thing. I got this entrepreneurial like mindset even before knowing that this thing existed. Because in Bulgaria before 1989, it was kind of bad thing to even think about market and selling stuff. That was actually forbidden. You can get in trouble.
Interesting.
And
wow.
When 1990, I was my first year in college, and the whole world opened for Bulgaria and for markets. So anything we were thinking about was how to make money from whatever we can get our hands on.
Exactly.
So I ended up trying to sell irons in Greece. That didn't work out. Roses for March 8th, which is the International Women's Day. I was a taxi driver in our capital without knowing anything about the capital or the streets, and that was before the GPS era. Anything that you can think about, and this mindset, then it grew up with me, and I guess this is my 3rd company in the States, and I don't know how many in Bulgaria, but yeah, you always try something, and it's
see, you're taking action. They say action is the foundation to all success. You just have to, but you at the same time, you can't be afraid to fail. Like I promise you, if you try to do anything worthy, anything in your life, I don't care what it is, you're going to fail. And you have to embrace that. That doesn't mean you have to accept it, and then you don't strive for failure, of course. But in micro, failure is. I love the fuck up night. I think that is a great thing.
It's a good idea, because it's so like it's so easy to tell people that expect you to be very successful how big of a fuck up you can be. Different people have different stories. They might turn out to be like advertising their business, but I was all about my fuck ups. Like I guess people didn't even know what I'm doing in real life. Right. Thanks God.
Yeah.
But well, back to the actually your business. I wanted to ask you how the new technologies reflect what you're doing and how you're doing business and how you're planning. How are you playing with all the new toys, the Chat GPT, all this?
Yeah. So I'm going to say this. I am in a. So I told you I started practicing jujitsu a couple of years ago, right? And the one thing I've learned,
I continue. So this is the difference. If you get my bit on, yeah.
So here's the thing. What you learn is that action is great to take, but there's once in a while you have to just wait for your opponent to do something that you can take advantage of. Sometimes you get into a stalemate and you have to wait before you take action. And unfortunately, I think I'm in that case right now because of all the new technologies. First of all, the biggest technology that we need to face that's coming, and it's going to affect my industry, it's going to affect every industry, and that's blockchain, that's cryptocurrency. Especially as an investor, I'm a real estate investor, but I'm an investor in general. Cryptocurrency is going to change the world. Blockchain is going to change the world. It's going to decentralize the world. And my encouragement to anybody who's getting ready to make any plans in their business, that has to be a component of it. You have to understand what's coming. And what's coming, in my opinion, is the decentralization of the world. Like everything that anybody who's in the middle of something, a government or an education system or a medical system, anybody who's in between the consumer and the end product, they can be eliminated by blockchain and eliminated by AI. So
okay, don't get eliminated because there will be a lot of people scared by this.
Okay. When I say eliminated, listen, the opportunities are going to be way bigger than the eliminations, right? Yeah. I'm a very forward, positive looking person, but we all have to understand how blockchain is going to get integrated into our particular field. And the exciting thing about what cryptocurrency and blockchain is going to do is it's going to decentralize everything, which is going to give more people opportunity. For instance, let me give you an example. Right now, there are, they say 8 billion people in the world. 2 billion people do not have a bank. They do not bank. They don't use banks because they don't have access. Their country is maybe not as well developed or whatever. There are 2 billion new customers coming to the market over the next, I would say, just a handful of years, couple of years. It won't take 10 or 20. It'll just take a couple. Because blockchain is going to allow them to open up a bank on their own phone. And they'll be able to, if say you're in a village in Africa and you don't have a great infrastructure, but you have a cell phone connection, which everybody I think will have with Elon Musk's new Starlink. I think they're gonna make. What's that?
I got one of the Starlink antennas here.
You do? Interesting. Well, I think everybody will have them. And I think it will be, because of the new monetary system is going to be cryptocurrency, everybody will need access to the internet, everybody. And that needs to be accessed in the deepest valleys and the highest mountains. And I think that's what's going to happen. But imagine, if you will, 2 billion people coming into the market. What kind of economic activity is that going to create? It's going to be exciting. And it's going to raise the standard of living for everybody on the planet. So that's one area where I'm wondering, okay, how is that going to affect real estate? For instance, if you want to sell a property in Bulgaria, or you want to sell a property in America, what if you took that property and made a digital token out of it, and you could market it to all 8 billion people, not just people in your neighborhood, yeah, but maybe somebody wants to have a part ownership in a rental property that you have. Yeah. That's going to be possible, and it's going to be instant. You'll be able to get ownership of that token in seconds. So that's where I am in my business right now. I'm studying blockchain and how that's going to affect real estate. Every single asset on earth will go to the blockchain. And all a blockchain is it's encrypted. It's safe. It's a digital representation of value. And all of our money, all of our gold, silver, coal, lumber, real estate, anything that has value, books, music, are going to go become a token. And you'll be able to trade these tokens on the open market. And so all the studies I'm doing right now is, okay, how is that going to impact my business? And how am I going to invest for the future knowing that the world is moving in that direction. So that's how I'm thinking about it right now.
How do
everything's getting ready to.
How do you study? You just listen podcast and go and read, or you also experiment?
Yeah, both. First, I bought some cryptocurrencies as investments. My favorite two are XRP and XLM. Those are the two I purchased because I think that they're going to be the two mainstays of the new financial system. So I've actively invested. I've studied it. I recognize that between AI, blockchain, the new energy, we've got new energy coming that people don't have a clue about. They can run cars on electromagnetism that doesn't require the technology is crazy that's coming, and it's all going to be disruptive. But the one thing that's always going to be true, and the one thing I'm keeping at the heart of my businesses, are stories. He's
going to say story. Yeah.
Stories are how people operate. Like, you get me excited when I hear your story because you're a person who takes action and you're very inspirational. You care about people's health. And that motivates me, that inspires me to take action. And without your story, I don't think it would if you're just a guy that comes on and proclaims something, I don't know that I'm going to know you, like you, or trust you, which is the three requirements that it takes for people to do business with you. So stories are going to be the heart of my company and the heart of what we do, but technology is going to be delivered in a different way, I think.
So I think we haven't spoken probably 2 or 3, maybe 5 years, right? Maybe more.
Definitely since COVID, for sure.
Because my system to approach the new technologies, how I can test this thing in my playground, how I can try it with me or my team. And following this concept, 2 years ago, I opened a call for young people who are very involved in NFT technologies.
Oh, interesting.
And that was on LinkedIn. I said, this is a proposition. This is a fitness company. We want to see how we can actually implement the new possibilities that NFT technology provides in our business in the future. And the idea, actually 15 people called me and we did the interview process. We end up hiring 3 people. And that's a great for any startup that wants to check out their concept, because these are very, self-inspired, self-motivated people that will work without much money. And it's a great idea if you think you can apply it in your way. It's just out there. But then I said, okay, the goal is to figure out a service that we can provide on the technology that it's not here yet. What technology will be available in 5 or 6 years that we can start working on a service that will be, available after this technology come out. And we ended up with this experiment. It's called NFT books. Actually, 401 Fitness is one of the first NFT books with the Bulgarian translation in that platform. You can Google NFT books concept, and they have a huge Telegram channel. You can also provide this book there too. It's interesting. But my idea about NFT and books was different. Imagine you're a new author and you just written this book, and you said, I'm gonna be happy if I get $1,000 for this book, because this is just me. That's my time, and you ask a platform to create 100 NFT tokens about this book, and you offer them for $10 each. And then all the people who buy they're you investors in the book. And then, with the trading, everybody will still, profiting. But the new author will have the the idea and motivation to move forward and write another book, not just knock on the doors and try to get the book published. And if the book is good, if the book is good, the NFT value will start going up. It's like you holding NFT value of the Victor Hugo's book, right?
Exactly. I love it. See, you are a doer. Like if people get nothing else from this podcast, like you do. I so respect and am motivated by people who do things like NFTs. I haven't messed with them too much, but you're absolutely right. An NFT is a non-fungible token. It is something that is ownership. Like when you own one, it's through crypto. You know you own it, and now you could do what you want with it, right? You could sell it internationally. You could sell rights to it. Like there are so many different ways. You're already doing it. I love that. I'll look it up. I'd love to learn more because I think books and music. I think the old publishers of the past. They won't disappear, but maybe they'll change the way that they distribute music and distribute books because the technology of ownership will be in the crypto. So good for you. That's exciting. I would like to look at that, by the way. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, well, their concept is a little more different, but they're already there. They're selling their Bitcoin, whatever new stuff. I kind of I'm just watching what's happening. But my concept was it's more like a Kickstarter to support the new authors, because my concept is especially about health. If I know something that will help your health, and you ask me, Deutsch, and tell me this is my problem, and I said, Ron, give me $20, I will tell you exactly what you need to do. This is bullshit. Health information should be free, but then the time for authors who develops it should be, the authors should be happy. Let's put it away. And how to solve this problem? We want the information to be free, and you want the authors to be happy. Well, this solves the problem, because authors will keep moving forward and providing more and more information if people are buying and then 100 people buying a book and you make it free forever. That's the concept.
Yeah, I love it. That is so awesome.
You're the one who I'm going to be very proud to make these people available for Bulgarian market. See, and I can even pay for it. This is the mindset of this. I love information I like, and then I will help with my investment to do this. This is the NFT behind the digital ideas spreading.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I think you're going to see I think the difficulty right now where we are. People don't understand how early we are in this technology, even though it's been around for 10 or 12 years or whatever. There's a lot of change coming, and it's going to, I think, happen fairly quickly. And it'll take a little mind shift, to get there. But good for you. I'm excited about that. I'd love to see it.
Well, let's get. This is a TEMELI podcast. We talk about the 5 TEMELI, and we didn't talk about one TEMEL today. TEMEL is the Bulgarian word for foundations, and this is the name of the podcast, TEMELI. So my understanding is that there are 5 TEMELI, which 5 foundations of health, which is breathing, sleep, movements, and I'm not saying exercise, just movements, eating, and mindfulness. So in all these 5 foundations, we provide coaching in different ways. So one part of the coaching is one-on-one, what pays my bills here in the States. Then I have mastermind groups that people from all over the world comes, and we have 1 week for every TEMEL. So 1 week we work for breath, 1 week for sleep, and then the next level of coaching is one-to-many, which is the books and the podcast. Actually, I wrote 2 more books, and I have 3 more to write in Bulgarian. So a book for every TEMEL. So the book breathing is already out. The book sleep is already out. And I'm on the end of the writing the book about movements, which is called play, the art of moving freely. So which TEMEL would you like to address today, my friend?
I love the idea of movement.
Okay.
So I'll share that because it's in my tagline. My company is called Bastion Realtors, and the first word in my tagline is move.
Move.
Because it's the underlying action is the foundation to all success. Like movement is required. Like it's almost impossible to live a life without movement, but a lot of people get very sedentary and they don't move. And so that word movement excites me more than the others because now you have to ask yourself the question, okay, I'm going to move. Now you have to ask the next question is in what direction? Like, where are you going directionally with your life? Where are you going directionally with your exercise routine? Where are you going directionally with your health in terms of your eating? Like one of the things, I'll share this quick story. I went to an all-natural diet recently, and I fast every day.
Okay, what is all-natural diet?
Well, I would say that anything that has any processed chemicals, anything I can't pronounce, I don't eat. And as close to natural, I eat grass-fed butter, grass-fed beef, fruits, vegetables, things that don't have chemical treatments, pesticides and so forth. And I just made that as part of my general direction of health, right? But it requires movement. Like, so I got to move, first of all, you have to have some physical exercise and so forth. I agree with all of that, but movement in general, like, I'm making my own meals, I don't purchase them from a package as a general rule. But yeah, I think that word it's the word to, I love that foundation. I think it's the best. I mean, they're all important. But ultimately, if you don't.
Are you listening to the Andrew Huberman podcast?
I'm sorry, who?
Andrew Huberman.
No,
Okay, this is your golden moment right now. Make a mark. I'll send you a link. I did not know there's an American that doesn't know about this podcast. This is the fastest growing podcast about health and self-help. You're gonna tell thank me so much, man. I'm excited. So he's a neuroscientist, but one of the things I wanted to tell about the story you just shared is that movement is very good cure for, how do you say, like, not laziness, but even early form of depressions. So it's so powerful that they developed glasses that will project you movement forward, because you're so depressed, you don't want to move from bed, but you put these glasses on, and it's like, one of these tunnels that you move forward, and just the sense of this makes your eye movement like this, and this initiate desire to move more.
Motivation.
And making the first step, because the first step is the most difficult ever. So movement is the essential part. And that's why my book series is called This Book Doesn't Matter. Because it doesn't matter if you read it or know, if you remember it, if you don't do anything you just read. So anything that is actionable makes more sense than anything you know or will know. So you are what you do. You're not what you're saying or you're reading. It doesn't matter how many PhDs you have if you don't do what you know, or if you don't manifest what you know. And that's the whole concept about the small increments. Information about nutrition, for example, is the most difficult to comprehend right now. Right now, in this hour of talk, probably 5 new diets are popped up, maybe more. And people are confused. And that makes the first step even more difficult, right? So my coaching goal is to make sense of all this and help you do the first step, like a real first step. Don't read anymore bullshit. Let's make this tomorrow, come back for more next day. This is the process. And then let's see how many steps you can do on your own. Let's see how you're going to fall, and we're going to fix this in this process, right? So to make something very complex simple is the first goal of the coach, right? So how are we going to do this for nutrition? Well, as Peter Attia said, there's only 3 ways to fix your eating, even though there's 1,000 diets. When do you eat? How much do you eat? The volume of whatever you eat, and what is in your plate? Only 3 questions. And you can, every time you sit, you ask yourself these questions. Even you develop this mindfulness of asking yourself, is this the right time? Is this the right volume? Is this that what is in your plate good for me? And most of the people actually know the right answer about this, right? And then every time you start making good decisions. If you don't ask yourself these questions, if you ignore them, what are you doing? You're eating whenever you want, how much you want, and whatever you want. This is the standard American diet, and it's not doing anybody good.
It's just a matter of being mindful about it, isn't it? Being thoughtful about it, right?
All the temelis, they are connected. See, but mindfulness is there, but breathing is very connected to mindfulness. Mindfulness is very connected to movements, because you need mindfulness of the movement, to knowing where you are in the space. And eating is the same. Sometimes we eat mindful. Sometimes we just stuff our faces with stuff that we don't need.
Yep. Yeah. I think that's being intentional about it. I've got a book brewing in my brain. It's about intention. I do that a lot. I write in my head before I, for long periods of time before I actually write. Yeah. And intention, like if you're intentional about whatever it is you want to accomplish or do in life, like it's the mindfulness. It's that part of it that actually can make it manifest and come true. So I think you're 100% spot on.
Yeah, amazing. So are you using any new technologies in your life, for your fitness, your business? Because last time we talked, I'm a tech guy. I get all the technology I can use actually with the syringe and the watch. Nice. I have all my clients with this. They're on different continents, but I watch what they're doing so we can correct stuff, analyze data. But this is all like very interesting now, and it's going to be automatic. We'll have artificial intelligence doing a lot of the work. That's what I'm doing now. But it's so exciting to have all the data and to be able to see a human body as a dashboard and to make decisions and see how these decisions and behaviors change.
Yeah, from a technology perspective, it's interesting you asked that question, because I'm very much a technology. I embrace all new technology, but I will say that the one I've studied the most is blockchain. I'm the most excited about it because freedom is coming with blockchain. I just haven't. From a technical perspective, I don't quite know how to incorporate that into my business yet. It's just not developed. It probably is developed. It's just not readily available to most normal people yet, because I think the institutions will use it first. But that's the one I'm most excited about. I will say this: I've probably gone more simple in my life than more technology based, basically based on that concept. I have used ChatGPT to help formulate a couple of ideas on writing, but I think the technology piece for me is, how am I going to deliver my stories in a new way? With given new technology. I think that's where the focus is, but I haven't really implemented much, especially over the last few years.
Yeah, I've been playing with ChatGPT since the first days, and it's so amazing what it can do and what it can do. For example, ask him to do a personal story about anything. It's so funny. It's just like, it's sad, or telling a joke. It is like so predictable. It's not even it's bad. So, but man, I asked him, I want to write a book, and the book is about this and this and this. Outline me the book. Whoop. 12 chapters with what I need to write in every book. Do you know how much time it took me for the It was like 3 weeks to figure out now. And I'm just using this guideline and I'm filling the blanks. It's so
That's awesome.
Actually to organize my thoughts, which story to put where. It's amazing.
I could totally see that being beneficial, especially on those type of like you're still going to be the creator of the content, but this is giving you a much faster runway, right? You're going to be able to finish projects way earlier.
Deliver the stories more organized and in better way because it can tell my story. It's my story, right?
Yes.
More probably I can spin it with it and tell it with better words, but it's still my story, my people, my experience, and it's a great to be able to deliver the perfect story to the best target group.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's amazing new technology. Have you talked to Mitko recently?
I haven't. I have followed him though. He has done a great job with this remote lifestyle and so forth.
We have been talking with how the young people, because he's still young, even though he's 30 now, that grew up into the remote life, era, last 15, 20 years. Now, some of them already have kids and families, and their view of life is changing. So what, for example, they will want from property, where they gonna buy a house or what they gonna do. So now we've been talking about some of his friends are getting together as a group, like 5, 6 families with kids with the same age, and they will go to Spain and rent a house for 1 or 2 years and just hire a local teacher for all the kids together. And they will move to South Africa and do the same for 1 or 2 years. So think about changing the real estate market. They don't care about long-term, investment. It's like long-term renting. It's booming now.
Yeah, I so agree with you. Actually, I own an Airbnb as well. And here's what I'll say: like my wife and I went on vacation in the spring out to Colorado, and we met a young family who had been traveling the country. It was a mother, a father, and 3 children. They have seen almost everything in the United States over the last 3 years with that same mindset. Like they're breaking all the rules of the traditional. They're obviously don't have real estate. They don't have a house. Yeah. They're living wherever they are. They would rent short-term rentals or they might camp or whatever. But I think the world is changing. I think, so here's how I like to say it. Decentralization is the biggest thing. I said blockchain earlier. A better way to say it is decentralization. Think of New York and its tall skyscrapers, right? That is centralization. That is power consolidating in one place.
How much is one apartment room in New York now? 10,000? How much is to rent one bedroom apartment in New York?
Ridiculous, right? 10, when there's so much land and so many other places to go and live. So all of that power, all of that money that's concentrated in New York City is going to be spread out to all 8 billion people. And not in a communistic way, but in a very democratic, freedom kind of a way. That's exciting. And the technologies that allow that to happen revolve around blockchain. And so my point is that as those cities and those infrastructures fall, what springs up out of it are people who like to travel the world and are not tied to a particular district or a particular country even, because the technology allows them to work from anywhere. And those buildings that they've built, I don't know what the vacancy rate is in New York. I haven't looked at it recently, but I know San Francisco, they have like 25% of their office buildings are empty. Or there's 25% vacancies is a better way to say it, right? Like that's a big number for real estate. And it's only going to get worse over time. They're going to get more and more empty. You don't need those tall buildings. You just don't need them. So to your point, I think younger people are going to grow up in a world where they can, my daughter, she's getting ready to decide on where she wants to live because both she and her future husband, she's getting married here in September, they both work from home. They can live anywhere they want in the world. And that's one of the things I'm doing with my real estate company. I told my wife, I said, I want to build a company that allows my real estate agents to live anywhere in the world and still to be able to do business here in Loveland, Ohio, or Mason, Ohio, or somewhere in Kentucky. Like, why wouldn't I? But I agree with you. I think that's where the world is going. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a more inclusive, flatter world, you know, like not these big cities and these big power structures are going to go away. Let's
wrap it up with a little talk about the mindset of longevity, and I will tell you what I have in mind. So imagine we will be at the same fitness and health 100 more years. Let's be brave. So this is a whole new life, and it's obviously logical if you have more than one homes, you travel more than one country or one more state, and even have more than one careers. This is the new concept. If I'm gonna live 100 more years, do you think I'm gonna be in this career for 100 more years? However exciting that might be, I'm gonna be guess in 5-10 years I'll find something else, and that comes with a new needs of homing, of setting, or environment. So this is new concept comes from the health expansion, life expansion, and then people will change to the mindset to I can live forever. I can live wherever, not forever, obviously, maybe one day. But imagine that mindset change that we need to face when we live forever, right? But yeah, this is the biggest challenge for me. Some people said, well, I don't want to live 50 more years. I might not have money. Well, then you won't, because you need to want and have a purpose to live for these extra years.
Exactly.
If you don't have a purpose, your health is going to be just the last thing to worry about. You're going to be just bored, sick of your life.
Exactly. You know what? I'm glad you brought this subject up. Also on the technology front, medicine is about to change. Like I do believe, I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility that people live to 150 and 200 years old. I really don't. The medical advances that are coming around I don't know if you're familiar with a Rife machine, R-I-F-E, frequencies. Yeah. So many changes are coming. I do believe longevity and long life is going to be way more attainable, I think, than most people think. And I agree with you. I think I started jujitsu at 54 years old.
Yeah.
That's stupid. That's crazy. Like anybody,
right.
I don't have any friends that do that.
Yeah, well, it's actually it's way safer than a lot of other stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did the other stuff with the high impact stuff, and I don't think that's the best way to stay healthy. But my point is that however you think about it, however you think about longevity and health, that's the reality that's going to take place. You can think young, and become young, in my opinion. And I do think that you probably started this whole thing with me thinking, you know what? Yeah, I want to live a long, want to be a healthy and productive life. But if you don't have something to get out of bed for every day, I agree with you. I don't think it's gonna work regardless. But the cool thing about what you and I do is, if you're an entrepreneur, you're just always looking for an opportunity and another way to grow and another
things to be curious about and excites you. And then if you surround yourself with other crazy people, it's so easy. Hey, let's try this crazy idea together, and
yes,
let's fuck up together. Let's fuck up together.
Yeah. So I'd like to say this one thing. I'd like to leave you with this for sure. Like, although technology is awesome, I think we have to, as entrepreneurs, always focus on what is most important in life, and that's people. People are at the heart of everything every economic activity that will ever take place. People are in the middle of, but people are what matters. And stories are a way to connect with those people. And to me, I'm always going to be a storyteller. I'm always going to be connecting with people, and I'm always going to be the biggest fan of people who are trying to do stuff the rest of my life. And I'll always support those folks. So I think if we can focus on the stuff that we know is going to last, and that is people and stories and love and family and friends, like, I think that's a good way to get up every day and maybe try to help those people live better lives or contribute in some way.
Well, that's I can't say it with better words, man. You're a master storyteller and a podcast host, so it's so easy to do the talk with you. You should come every month just to refresh all my podcasting skills.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And, we definitely need to get together, and there's so much more I can tell you. Thank you for connecting me with John Salisbury.
Yes.
We had a great conversation. He's even crazier than I am.
He's so funny.
And he understands all my crazy ideas. And the next day, he even put me a list of stuff with a budget that we need to do. It's I can see how he's so successful.
Yeah.
He just puts the easiest experiments forward, and then most of the time you fall, but then sometimes you succeed big time.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on, Dorshan. I am totally honored. That you still have my book, and I appreciate your
in Bulgaria.
I love it. That excites me so much.
All right.
That's awesome.
And we do a podcast when this is happening. So you might actually come to Bulgaria. You've never been. It's a great.
That sounds like an amazing.
One of my clients is the biggest real estate agent in Bulgaria.
I would love to come to Bulgaria.
For connections.
Yeah, my wife and I actually just yesterday were planning our trip, just looking for new places to go. I would love to go to Bulgaria. So maybe that would be an awesome trip.
It's in the books. We will go together.
I'm in.
All right.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Take it.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
You have a great one.
Благодаря ви, че бяхме заедно в още един епизод от Темели подкаст. Надявам се да ви е харесал. Ако е така, можете да ни последвате, за да не пропускате следващите епизоди от линковете на този екран. Също радваме се винаги да чуем от вас и ако имате идеи за гости и теми, които искаме да обсъдим. До скоро!